Good morning, America, and thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast of Channel 4 News, your allied force in bringing you accurate war news fast. I'm your anchor, Brent Whiting, and here's your co-anchor, Ian Arford.
We have breaking news today. President Franklin D. Roosevelt returned home after an Allied conference in the Soviet city of Yalta.
With Allied forces moving day to day closer to winning the war in Europe, Allied leaders Joseph Stalin, Winston Churchill, and President Roosevelt met only a few days ago to discuss tactics and strategy of what remains.
The tension-filled meeting took place last week from February 4th to February 11th. At the meeting, the so-called Big Three all had personal agendas when entering the doors of Yalta.
Our experts report to us that much of the topics of discussion for the Soviets at Yalta outlined protecting Soviet borders from future German invasions. We also understand that Churchill stated clearly that he was concerned about the spread of communism throughout other European countries, and he has said that he wants free election in all of Central European countries, including Poland.
Roosevelt entered Yalta with hopes of persuading Stalin to aid with the war efforts in the Pacific. All these leaders displayed a clear lack of trust between one another.
Reports have told us that the battles of the Pacific will be fought after the inevitable victory in Europe occurs. We have word that Stalin and Churchill have both agreed to enter the war against Japan following the fall of Germany and to join the new powerful union of countries called the United Nations.
Word had arrived this week that Roosevelt's request had been met. The leaders also agreed to split post-war Germany into 4 regions, which would be controlled by the Soviets, the British, the French, and the United States.
Germany will be forced to pay war reparations for their destructive rampage throughout Europe and into Soviet territory. The exact details at this moment are not known, though.
We have breaking news. We interrupt the current newscast as we send you to Washington as the President addresses Congress about his recent trip to Yalta.
I come from the Crimea Conference with a firm belief that we have made a good start on the road to a world of peace. Never before have the major allies been more closely united, not only in their war aims, but also in their peace aims. And they're determined to continue to be united with each other and with all peace-loving nations, so that the ideal of lasting peace will become a reality. The German people, as well as the German soldiers, must realize that the sooner they give up and surrender by groups or by individuals, the sooner their present agony will be over. I'd read about Warsaw and Lidice and Rotterdam and Coventry, but I saw Sebastopol and Yalta, and I know that there is not room enough on earth for both German militarism and Christian decency. We haven't won the wars yet, with an S on wars. It's a long, tough road to Tokyo. It's longer to go to Tokyo than it is to Berlin, in every sense of the word. The defeat of Germany will not mean the end of the war against Japan. On the contrary, we must be prepared for a long and costly struggle in the Pacific. But the unconditional surrender of Japan is as essential as the defeat of Germany. I am confident that the Congress and the American people will accept the results of this conference as the beginnings of a permanent structure of peace, upon which we can begin to build, under God, that better world in which our children and grandchildren, yours and mine, the children and grandchildren of the whole world, must live and can live.
You saw it here first, folks, as the President has just met with Congress over meetings in Yalta. He clearly has a sense of optimism about the two wars, but realizes that the road to winning both is long and hard. Also, he says the Allied forces have never been closer after what seemed to be a very tense meeting between them in Yalta.
We will continue to update you on the current war news as well as any more news on the meetings at Yalta. Well, hopefully we will see the war in Europe and the Pacific end very soon. Well, that's all the time we have for today, folks. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm Ian Arford, and this is Brent Whiting signing off.